Some of you will be able to skip the step that we just did, where we had to time save down our bottom because it wouldn't fit inside the dado. Either way, we're now to the dry fit part again. So I'm going to set my drawer parts together just like this. So I've made an I or an H. And then my front and back should just set right in here. And once my front and back are in, I'm going to check for two things. Number one, I'm going to measure the overall width. You could do this with a ruler or a tape measure. And I want mine to be right at 10 inches. Remember, my opening is 11. I have a 1/2 inch of drawer slide on either side. So the overall width of my drawer should be 10 inches or 1 inch less than my opening. Now, if I'm at 10 inches, or in my case, I'm a 32nd under 10 inches, that's okay. We can keep putting this together. But if I'm measuring more than 10 inches or more than 1 inch less than my opening, I got to take and cut my front and back down so that my drawer can shrink. Now, if you look at the ends of this with me, you'll see that there's a little tiny gap right here. There's designed to be a little gap there to allow us some flexibility if we need to trim down our front and back a little bit. If my front and back are too small or too big and I have to cut them down a lot, I'm also going to have to cut down my bottom. But this little gap right here is totally fine and normal. So I'm good to go. I can leave it kind of set up just like it is. I'm going to take and I'm going to use a little bit of glue. Uh-oh, we got a glue booger. I want to use the smallest amount of glue that I can, just a real thin bead, and I'm actually going to wipe this one with my finger because we don't want glue squeeze out all over my project. Go ahead and wipe that glue under the table or your shirt, whatever's better for you. And then I'm going to set this in here. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that this side is flush to the front. So when this is flush right here, I'm going to go ahead and put a staple in here. Now I'm using the same 1-inch staples that I used to put my build-up in. So if you don't have 1-inch staples in here, you're going to have to go get them. But I've got the 1-inch staples, and I'm only going to put 2 staples in. Don't have your hand right next to the joint when we staple it. We want it to be back a little bit in case we miss. So there's 2 staples on that side and 2 staples on that side. Now I'm going to flip it around and do the same thing. Notice I have not put any staples into my bottom. That's intentional. We'll get that in a second. Glue, glue, wipe off the extra, put this in, and I'm going to staple this the same way that I did before. Now, some mistakes that people will make with these staples is they'll put them too low. If they put a staple right here, it's not going to hit anything. You also see I bubbled it just a little bit. That's not a problem at all. But I've got a drawer that looks good, but it may not be square yet. So what I want to do is line up my bottom so that I've got the same no overhang all the way around. So I just got to tap my bottom down there. The bottom acts like the face frame on your cabinet. It's what squares it up. So I want this to be perfectly flush all the way down. Then I'm going to tip my drawer over. And I'm going to put 3 staples in each side. It's okay, like on this side, I've got just a tiny little lip. That's okay. Now I've got a drawer that is all finished and assembled. You can go ahead and put your drawer slides on right away if you'd like to.